everybody, I'd like you to meet my old friend, Nostalgia. Man, does it work. I have a remake today that I want to share with you all. The game that is a massive deal to me called Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life has been released this year, which is a remake from Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. My nostalgia kicks in and that's all I've been playing. And per usual, I'm going to show you a bunch of gameplay and you can decide for yourself as well. So my friends, let's get into the games. So you know the genre of farm and life sim games? Well, in case you didn't know, Harvest Moon is basically the OG for this. Yeah, the maker behind Stardew Valley, Concerned Ape, was heavily inspired by Harvest Moon. Later down the road, the creators of Harvest Moon would get into disputes within each other. So the game's main name has changed to Story of Seasons. And there are some differences in this remake. But for the most part, if you've played A Wonderful Life back on the GameCube or on another system back in the day, there's a good chance you'll start to remember the animals, the characters, the marriage candidates, and etc. But I'm going to explain it to you as if you've never played the remake or the original. And the game starts off how most farm sim games start off. Your character shows up to the town known as Forgotten Valley. Some land has been handed down to you by your old man, so you come to Forgotten Valley to live off of the land and start anew. This game basically started that idea, and I'm pretty proud at the trail that this game has blazed. Anyways, you start off with a barn and a chicken coop with a small cozy house, 2 crop fields and a watering hole. There is a man that your old man knew and worked with that also lives on the land currently. He is there as kind of a guide for you, but he pretty much lets you do your own thing. On the first day of summer for the first year, he will get a horse for you. All you have to do is pick out the color of horse that you want. You will also get to choose between a pair of dogs that just show up on the land on your very first day. What luck! The dog doesn't really do anything for you, except that it is cute and you can teach it tricks, so at least it has that. But the horse can take you around town much faster than you can walk it, obviously. This is a big deal because time is a big factor. There are 10 days in each season, and every 1 minute in real time is 1 hour in the game's time. When you decide to hang it up and go to sleep, your character will wake up at 6 a.m. every morning, so I make sure that the character gets at least 6 hours of sleep for a better and more productive you the next day. Either before or after you go to bed is always a good time to write in your journal, aka saving the game. After that, the first thing I like to do is watch the TV. One channel is a weather forecast channel, which predicts the next 6 hours, which gives you an idea on if you should bring your animals out to pasture, for example, and if it's raining, then you'll know that you don't need to water your crops that day, or at least at that time. Also keep in mind though that the weather is not always 100% accurate on that channel. There's also another informational channel, which gives you tips on fishing, well, sort of, tips on growing crops, and on the different farm animals that you can purchase. That and cooking, if I need to, are the first things I do when I wake up. After that, I will go to my barn and check on my cow. There I can make sure that she's getting food, and I can milk her. You can milk a cow twice a day if you do it early, so that's why it's one of the first things I do, because it's every 10 game hours where you can milk a cow at full health. What I typically do next on a certain day depends on what point of the game that you're in. If you don't have chickens yet, then I would go to the crops, but you should have at least planted 5 tomato seeds on your first or second day. Note that there is another farm very close to yours where you can buy seeds from. That's what I would do. I would buy a little bit more crops for you and tend to those crops. Crops and milk are going to be a big way that you earn money, especially at the beginning. When you buy these crops, they will give you information on what season that they grow and how long it takes for them to grow. Make sure you're watering the crops that need water. Not all of them do, especially in the summertime. In the summertime, you should probably water them twice a day. Okay, now the basics and your typical morning is out of the way. The rest of your time spent playing the game is pretty much up to you, and that's a beautiful thing about this. There are 8 potential marriage candidates for you to choose from. There are 4 male and 4 female candidates. And regardless of your sex, you can marry either one of them. The only thing, in this game, you do have to get married or the game will end after the first year. If you do not personally hand out the blue feather, which is used to tell the candidate that you want to marry that person, then somebody will come to you to ask for marriage. You see, there is a heart system for each candidate that shows you just how much affection they have for you. The NPC with the highest affection will be the one who asks you if you do not ask them again. At the start of year 2, you will have a baby. This is also, again, regardless of who your marriage candidate is. So knowing all this, it really is just preference. Play the game exactly how you want to play it, unless you didn't want to get married. And if that's the case, then you're SOL. The original game, Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, I grew up treasuring, and I think they did right by this remake. And if you're a fan of these kind of simulation games, then it's gonna be worth every penny. Do I think it's better than Stardew Valley? Probably not. Stardew Valley is one of, if not my favorite freaking game ever, so hard to beat that. I don't know. There is a new Harvest Moon game out though, called The Winds of Anthos. I'm excited to see how that turned out. I have not played it yet, but when I do play it, best believe I will have a review for it, or at least show some gameplay of it and my thoughts on it. This next part is just to show you a little bit of some gameplay without uncovering spoilers for the story, because the story means so much in this game. I'm big into life games, or farm sim games, you may say. And it's because of this game that came out for the GameCube, along with Animal Crossing, why I got so invested into this genre. My nostalgia kicks in, and that's all I've been playing. So a game called Fae Farm has come out this year, about a month ago now, and I've got a couple of videos planned for it that I'm supposed to be working on. So Fae Farm, I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me. I'm just gonna need some time right now, but I will make content on it because Fae Farm is also amazing, and I cannot wait until you see videos on Fae Farm as well. But this game right here that you've been watching, Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, will always be near and dear to my heart. I love this game, and I hope that your experience will be the same. Until then, I'm Ty from America's Video Games. Have a great day.